bases dropped on a new edition of Soccer Down here. It's February 29th, and it's a Saturday, and I am speaking to you from a hotel room in Nashville, Tennessee, where Atlanta United's going to face Nashville SC tonight in Nashville's inaugural MLS opener at Nissan Stadium. 50,000 plus, and the weather's pretty good. It's going to be cold, but we're not going to get the precipitation we worried about earlier in the week. So maybe if you are in Atlanta listening to this and it's 10 o'clock, maybe by the time we finish at 11, we will have convinced you to get in the car. First, go to Ticketmaster, get your tickets, go ahead and line that up. And then get in the car and drive north. It's like 4 hours. 3 if you drive like Mike Bell, which is not recommended. Don't do that. 4 hours. You can take your time. You can stop. You could eat at White Castle in Murfreesboro if you want. And then get on into Nashville and join the tailgate, which is going to be huge, and head on into the match. Kickoff's not going to be till 8:30. Broadcast starts at 8 o'clock on Big Fox. Homer Simpson Fox, Kiefer Sutherland 24 Fox, Brandon Walsh Fox. All the Big Fox stars will be part of this. They even did a graphic because now, Fox has the big relationship with the WWE. They even did a graphic on their WWE backstage program with Jeff Jarrett in it. It's Jeff Jarrett Fox, y'all. It's a big day. It's a big game. It's a big day for MLS because the season is kicking off today, 1 o'clock Eastern time in Washington, D.C. D.C. United and the Colorado Rapids get us started. Got lots of stuff this morning. It's going to be a shorter show. We're going to give you our predictions in the second half of the show, but we're going to go through all of the matches on the schedule as well. I believe John Nelson has juice box purveyors and numbers and updates for us.
That he certainly does, and as always, it will be courtesy of our friends at Bet365. So as you go through each individual match, we will have the juice boxes and what they think.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and run through the schedule. I know things sound a little different. I think I am echoey and sounding like a cartoon overlord or something. Yeah, it's what happens on the road sometimes. So that's why it is. I apologize. Hopefully it's not too bad for y'all listening. Tweet at us at Soccer Down Here if you got questions. If you got Nashville, Atlanta questions specifically. If you got MLS questions, go ahead and throw them at us on the Twitters. But let's get it rolling. It's Colorado headed to D.C., Audi Field, which has some XFL markings all over the field. It's not ideal. It looks a little chewed up. I know there's some pictures out there of Nissan Stadium and some dead spots on the field. Talked to Jonathan Slape of Speedway Soccer yesterday, who was at training on the field, and he said a lot of the bad spots are off the playing surface for one, and he said on the field it looked better than it did from up above. So hopefully it plays fine. Even those spots, to me, it didn't look like they were chunked up. The DC situation at Audi looks a whole lot worse. A whole lot worse. And DC United coming into this, John, Paul Arriola injured. On the Colorado side, Nicholas Benezet has been back training. We'll see if he makes the lineup. He suffered a broken nose in preseason. Two teams that I think have a lot to prove. There's questions about DC after the way they finished, after watching Wayne Rooney, Luciano Acosta walk out the door. Colorado finished really well, but are they for real now that everybody knows Colorado is a team that was one of the best in the Western Conference in the second half? Are they going to be able to go on the road and into the nation's capital and get a result?
Courtesy of our friends Bet365, the answer is no. DC United is a plus 120. Your draw option is plus 250, and Colorado is plus 220 walking in the door. So they're leaning toward DC United.
Let's see. I would probably go with a decent one, actually, because I kind of like the draw option here. I don't know what DC is going to be just yet. I really don't. I don't know where they're going to play Edison Flores. Is he going to be a 10? Is he going to play out wide? Julian Gressel gave an interview to a German outlet, and he talked about potentially playing the 8 or the 10. So is he playing games with a German media outlet that there wouldn't really be any reason to play games with? Or has Ben Olsen not really decided what this is going to look like just yet? I don't know. So I just don't know enough about DC right now as they're currently configured to bet strongly on them. And Colorado, I think, is more of a sure thing. I like this Colorado backline with Sam Vines, with Austin Trusty, with Lalas Abubakar, with Keegan Rosenberry. Good holding midfield as well with Price and Acosta. The question about Colorado for me is Benezet, what's he going to give you? Where is he training-wise after having that broken nose? Namli, the newcomer, is he going to be that creative player that they targeted? Kai Kamara, can he keep doing it at age 35? There's some questions about Colorado. They're not as big a questions as they are about DC. So I'm going to go draw, and actually a pretty comfortable draw for me in this one. I'm not even going to take the weird juice box at the back of the pile. I'll take like a good orange flavored juice box. I'll take the good one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a good one. Throw it on. I'm going to go draw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I was thinking something along the lines of 1-1 just to get folks on the board this season. And I will go with the Blueberry Acai juice box on the draw.
Okay. Blueberry Acai. That's Blueberry Acai is pretty good. Yeah, I'll work with this. Okay. Next on the board, next on the schedule today, it is 3 o'clock. And it is Montreal hosting the New England Revolution. Now, Montreal's had a little thing called the CONCACAF Champions League going on, and New England has not. Carlos Heel has not appeared in preseason due to a minor foot injury, not expected to play today. How does New England incorporate Adam Buxa? Is he going to go up top? Is Gustavo Bo going to drop into the number 10 role? If you go back and look at New England late last season, they didn't really play with a true number 10. It was much more of a 4-4-2, empty bucket midfield with 2 holding midfielders. Heel was a right winger who cut inside and gave room for Brandon Bye to bomb up and down the right wing. I don't know if they go with that again or if Bo becomes a number 10 in the short term and you bring on another right winger to play more of a true 4-2-3-1. So some questions on the New England side. Montreal, they got a ton of injuries. And you just have to wonder, where they're at with a beat-up team, but a team that is coming in with a little bit of confidence after getting through Saprissa. I don't know how open they can be here because their defense is where a bunch of injuries have occurred. Yuka Ryatala with a broken fibula, expected to miss significant time, adding to the list. Rudy Camacho's out with an injury as well. So I'm leaning New England on the road, although road wins are hard to come by in this league.
Then you may take another nice flavored juice box and enjoy New England here. Montreal listed at plus 145, the draw at plus 240, and New England itself at plus 180.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, a really good set of numbers on this because Montreal at home with the injuries, with short rest, I don't feel too good about them getting it done. I think New England can go in and get it done. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with New England. I'm gonna lean to New England, and I don't know what flavor, but it's a good one. I think New England can go in and get this win on the road.
Just pull another juice box from the same 6-pack that you pulled the first one from.
Yeah, we can do that. We can go with one of the good orange. You can mix a little orange. You can do an orange mango, something like that. We'll take that. All right, first big game of the day is in Houston. Sold-out crowd at BBVA Compass Stadium for the Houston Dynamo hosting Chicharito Capitan Chicharito and the LA Galaxy. The Galaxy, man, this is a team that defensively has had some woes. It's going to be different with Chicharito up top as opposed to Zlatan. Chicharito actually moves around a little bit, which is, I think, better for the overall team. I don't think he scores as many goals as Zlatan, but I think he makes the team better. I think Alexander Katai and Christian Pavón flanking Chicharito, that's bold, that's strong, that's a good attack. The holding midfield, you've got Jonathan Dos Santos, you've got Joe Corona, you've got Sebastian Lletget. Would love to see Lletget be able to step up and be a little bit of that number 10 that this team could use. The back line, Emiliano Insua, is he going to elevate the left side? You're missing Romney now, who's in Nashville. It's Giancarlo Gonzalez and Daniel Steres. Rolf Felcher slides out to the right side. It's got to be better for the Galaxy to end up being the Western Conference contender that some are putting them at. Houston, it's game one for Tab Ramos. It's a really dangerous attack in my book with Albert Ellis, with Darwin Quintero, with Mauro Manotas, with Tomas Martinez. Very, very strong attacking four. The rest of it, there are some questions. I don't know where Tab Ramos is going to go with this lineup. I think we're going to see it look different than the Dynamo have in the past, but are they going to be able to hit the ground running this quickly? Darwin Quintero has a lot of pressure on him. I think Mauro Manotas and Albert Ellis, two players that do want to get that big move to Europe, have to start the season hot to potentially have that move happen in the summer. Tomas Martinez is a player who's been good, but not as good as I think the Dynamo need him to be. It's another one where the road team comes in that is, I think, more established, and you're leaning to another road win. But we know road wins don't happen very often in this league. And if the Dynamo can get something out of it with a big home crowd, maybe some of those folks decide to come back another time and see this team in bright orange play again. I'm going to go draw.
Then once again, you might go back to that same six-pack. Houston, plus 115, actually. The draw is at plus 240. LA Galaxy to win outright, plus 220.
The LA one's tempting, but I'm gonna stick draw here. I'm gonna stick with a draw just because I think both teams do have questions. I do expect goals. I don't think it's going to be a scoreless draw or even a 1-1. I think it could be a kind of wild one, a 2-2 or a 3-3. It'd be a lot of fun. Tudane would be very happy with that for their first match of the season. So, yeah, I'll go 2-2 draw for Houston and Galaxy.
Right there with you. I was thinking it was going to be, actually, now that we're thinking about it, since we're discussing wild ones, I'm going to go ahead and try and check another number really quickly and see if they're paying attention. Let's see. Yeah, if you're looking at the goals scored number, they have 3 or 3.5. The over is at plus 225, and the under actually is at plus 180. So
I like
they're
that
thinking
over.
It's going to be low scoring. I would go the other way.
Yeah, I like that over number. So that's where I'm at with it. Okay, next up. And this one could be another wild, crazy, fun match to watch. San Jose hosting Toronto. So, no CONCACAF Champions League for Toronto. They come in without Michael Bradley. They come in without Pablo Piatti, their new designated player signing, hamstring injury. So they are not at full strength. They do come in with Josie Altidore. They do come in with Alejandro Pozuelo. They come in with a good midfield duo in Marky Delgado and Jonathan Osorio. Good times. Good times with this Toronto team. You're going to get Auro. You're going to get Nick De Leon. You could get Tsubasa Endo, one of the more underrated players in this league for me. Toronto, though, has to go in to face the buzzsaw that is the San Jose Earthquakes. And we know the way that this team plays. They are going to make you work in a big way. And they brought pretty much everybody back. You know, this is a team that hasn't gone big into a bunch of additions, so you would think that they're going to hit the ground running because they know what Matias Almeida wants them to do. They know the work that is going to be required. They did bring Christian Espinoza back, which is a big addition, who was on loan last year. They get him back on a permanent. But I think San Jose is going to be comfortable in the way that they play, and I don't know if Toronto's ready to deal with a team that's going to play in that way in the early going. So this is one where I like the home side, the San Jose Earthquakes, to get the job done today against Toronto.
As do our juice box purveyors at Bet365. They have San Jose at plus 110, the draw option at plus 260, and Toronto to win outright at plus 225.
Toronto has the talent to get something here, but I just think this is a tough one for an early season match. You know, defenses generally are ahead of offenses at this stage of the season in any sport. Soccer's no exception, and San Jose is a team that is based on a defensive tactic, and they're pressing everywhere, and they're man-to-man everywhere. I don't know if Toronto's ready for that at this stage. So San Jose to win, I'll go like 2-1, 3-1, something like that. I think they win with some goals. Does Wondolowski get one? I want to see how much Chris Wondolowski plays this season. That's what I'm waiting to see with San Jose. Is he going to be a guy who comes off the bench early on, or is he going to be somebody in his final pro season that Matias Almeida says, look, you're one of the fittest guys in this team. I don't care how old you are, you're going to play. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Next, and it is a 6 o'clock Eastern kickoff. As my computer wants to fight me for a second, give me one moment. It is Dallas and Philadelphia, live from Frisco, Texas. So, Dallas is a team that people are not necessarily high on, and Philadelphia is a team that I think people are forgetting about, and me included. I think Philadelphia is a team that was third in the East last year, and a team that hasn't had any bad moves in the offseason. They've lost Harris Medunjanin, and I do want to see how they replace that player as the fulcrum of their possession. You've got some other pieces in, but who's going to be the guy that dominates the possession buildup, dominates the passing side of it? Who's going to be that player? We're going to have to wait and see. Is it Orvik, who's a new player for the Union that we're going to get to know a little bit today? Don't know. I'm not sure. And that's a question when you look at this going on the road. That midfield, is it going to be a 4-4-2 diamond? Is it going to be more of a 4-2-2-2? Is it going to look maybe a little more like it does when they bring on Ilsinho with a 4-2-3-1? My guess is some variation of 4-4-2, either diamond or box, and we'll have to see how the pieces come together because chemistry is important in either shape between your midfielders. They have to know what the others are doing. They have to stay in sync, and that can take a little bit of time. Remember last year, it didn't look so great at the very beginning for the Union. Dallas is pretty much the same FC Dallas that got into the playoffs last year, that gave Seattle a big scare in the first-round match. And it's a team that is strong defensively with Reto Ziegler, Matt Hedges as your center backs, Reggie Cannon, one of the best young right backs in the country, Ryan Hollingshead, who is criminally underrated as a left back. He's been a utility guy. He's found his home at left back. He's been really, really good. A lot of hype on one of Dallas's new signings, Thiago Santos, coming in from Brazil. Can he elevate this midfield paired up potentially with Brian Acosta, Jesus Ferreira, who has made his breakthrough with the national team? And then you've got an attack with Michael Barrios, one of the most dangerous wide players in the league. Fafa Pico brings you a ton of speed on the other side to go with Barrios' speed. And then Cobra, Andrasic up top. It's a good Dallas team, and I think they get the win in the season opener today.
As do our friends with the juice boxes. FC Dallas is a minus 110. Our first one of those on the board this morning.
Ooh.
The draw option is plus 260. Philadelphia is plus 275.
Yeah, that feels about right. I think Dallas does take care of this today. Let's go down to Central Florida with our good friends, Orlando City. They are hosting Real Salt Lake. Oscar Pareja, his debut on the touchline for the Lions. I think it's going to be a much better Orlando City team under Pareja. I feel like I say it every show. I have a ton of respect for Pareja and what he does of bringing young players through and developing a team and a vibe and an atmosphere around a group. Absolutely the right hire for Orlando, and they'll be much better off for it. Mauricio Pereira in from the jump this season. A lot is expected of him. Nani had a great year last year. Can he do it again? Chris Mueller has to take another step in his development. Can he do that? Sebastian Mendez and Junior Urso as a midfield duo is very, very good. That's a duo that can cover a lot of ground. Mendez, if he'd been on a better team last year, would have got some shouts potentially in a best 11 type of situation. Huan, who had some injuries last year, is very dangerous going forward from right back. Can they be even better defensively than they were last year, which was much improved? That's going to be one job for Pareja to take care of. Gallese, the new goalkeeper, Peruvian Pedro Gallese, is he going to be an upgrade? If he is, this could be an Orlando team that's knocking on the playoffs. RSL was third in the West last year, and they have lost their two wingers that were very, very dangerous. Jefferson Savarino, Bofo Salcedo, both gone. They've added Justin Merrim. Corey Baird could move out to the wing. The attack has to be better for RSL. You know, the back line, the holding midfield, it's good. You don't have Nick Raimondo anymore, but Zach McMath could be your starter day one. Zach McMath has been a starting level goalkeeper in this league without a place to start for a number of years. So I think they'll be just fine there. And you've got David Ochoa coming, who's a teenager who won the USL Championship with Real Monarchs. But I don't know where the goals come from RSL just yet. I'm not sold on Sam Johnson up top. I don't know if they have to get creative and move a Damir Kreilach up top like they have at times. Don't know if Corey Baird goes up top and other players move around. Albert Rusnak can carry this team pretty far, but I don't know if he can carry him that far. In this one, even though both teams have a lot of questions, I do think you have to lean to the home team, and Orlando starts the season off with a win.
And that's what they're thinking here as well. Orlando City at minus 105. Both the draw option and Real Salt Lake to win are at plus 260 coming out of the blocks here in week one.
Yeah, I think Orlando gets it done here, and it's going to have it's just going to have a different feel in Central Florida this year. I think Orlando is going to be a team that we're talking about more as an Eastern Conference playoff team. I don't know how high in that race because I think there's some teams that are just better, but I think there's also some teams that have questions. And usually when you get into those, you're going to bet on the team with the better manager. And Orlando's got a really good one in Pareja. All right, the nightcap tonight, and it's a 10:30 Eastern kick. So after Atlanta and Nashville wrap up, it's in Vancouver. They host Sporting Kansas City. Now, Vancouver had a media day yesterday, and their CEO, Mark Panis, spoke to the media and said that the season ticket numbers are down relative to where they've been at their peak. And this is what he said. It's 100% correct. Listen, you are what your record says you are, and last year we finished in last place. Do we think we're a better organization than a last-placed organization? We absolutely do. Got to prove it, and that proving it starts tonight. This team on paper, I don't know what to make of them yet. Lucas Cavallini gives them a scoring threat that is much needed. Jordi Reyna is a very talented player, but he's been kind of up and down and all over the place in this league. They have one of the best shot stoppers in the league in Maxime Crépeau, and he bails them out a lot of times. You've got two outside backs in Jacob Nerwinski and Ali Adnan who are dangerous going forward. But what's the middle going to look like? And that's where my questions are for Vancouver. The midfield, the center backs, Derek Cornelius, Eric Godoy, is that a combination that can carry you to contending for a playoff spot? And that's got to be the bare minimum for every team in this league. Vancouver, coming off of a last place finish, where the fans are saying, look, show me. Is this a team that can compete there? I don't know. I think Sporting Kansas City is. I think Sporting Kansas City is a team that, with Alan Pulido in as the number 9, the best number 9 they've had since Dom Dwyer was traded, with wingers like Gerso, with Johnny Russell, I really like their midfield as well. Gianluca Busio has an opportunity to emerge this year, but he's going to have to compete to win this time because it's a very good midfield for Sporting Kansas City. Ilie Sanchez is one of the more underrated players in the league in my book. Great in possession. Backline, it's got to be better. You got to stay healthy, first off, and that's going to be the biggest issue. You've lost Seth Sinovic finally from your left back position. He's been there forever, and Luis Martins will be the guy. Is he going to be an upgrade? Don't know. It's got a lot to live up to. Seth Sinovic was one of the most, I think, stable left backs in the league. And is Luis Martins going to give you more going forward? Is he going to be a better player? We'll have to see. Another big question for me is Winston Reed coming into this team on loan, trying to get healthy, trying to get back to regular playing time. Does he come in and pair with Matt Besler? And where is he fitness-wise? Don't know. Graham Zusi has been so effective going forward for this team, but does he have the wheels to keep doing it? Does he have to pick his spots a little bit more? Besler's getting up there too. It doesn't feel like the end of a window for Sporting Kansas City because I think Pulido has extended it. Busio, his youth, has extended it. They've got more young players coming. But it feels like with this back line, it is a little bit of the end of that window. If you go with Reed, Besler, and Zusi as 3 of your 4 on the back line, there are some age concerns. There are some fitness concerns as the year goes on. You have a great goalkeeper in Melia. I do think Sporting Kansas City goes to Vancouver and gets a win tonight. I don't trust Vancouver until I see more from them. I think Sporting can be a contender in the Western Conference, but that older back line has to hold up.
Right there with you. Juice boxes have Vancouver to win at +2. Let's see if I'm doing my math right here. +225. Draw option at +240, and Sporting to win at +110. So the lean is definitely towards Sporting here on the road.
I think it has to be. It's a more talented team, and they should be able to take care of business. And "should" is the primary word in. All right, let's see what is next. We move to Sunday, and it's the Columbus Crew hosting New York City. Now, New York City has had CONCACAF Champions League, but they've been pretty comfortable in handling San Carlos in CONCACAF Champions League. So where are they fitness-wise? I don't know how much you have to worry about that, but they are coming in off short rest. They were at home in the second leg. That's going to help. New York City comes in with a very established team. It's pretty much the same group that was there last year. Eber has to stay healthy. When he's healthy, this is a top team in the league. When he's not, there's a huge drop-off. Tati Castellanos is a player that I wonder where he's going to get incorporated into it. Does he get thrown out wide on the right? Does he battle Ismail Tajori-Shradi for time, who's another very good player? He's had some injuries that have kind of derailed him at times. Alexandru Mitrița is one of the more talented players in the league as well. Maxi Morales was an MVP candidate last year with 19 assists. A good midfield duo with Keaton Parks and Alexander Ring. Good backline with Ronald Matarrita and Anton Tinnerholm getting forward from the outside. Alexander Callens, Maxime Chanot played together, I think, for 4 years now. And Sean Johnson in goal. It's a really good New York City team that can absolutely win MLS Cup. And it's a New York City team that can absolutely win the CONCACAF Champions League. Nobody's talking about that, but yes, they have the ability to do that. They're going up against a Columbus team that wants to be in that same conversation. I think it's going to take them just a little bit of time to be that team, but it starts here with an attack that's now spearheaded by Lucas Zelarayan, flanked by Pedro Santos, Luis Diaz. Jossie Zardes is a Golden Boot contender up top because he's going to get all the service and he's going to have a lot of opportunities to find the back of the net. Holding midfield's a question for me because you've got Darlington Nagbe and Artur, who neither one have really played the six, and somebody's got to sit a little bit deeper and protect this back line that is good, but you want to get Milton Valenzuela, you want to get Harrison Awful forward on the outside. You've got to have somebody between Nagbe and Artur sit a little bit more and protect. Jonathan Mensah, very good center back. And Vito Vormgor, is he going to be the guy who pairs with Mensah? It's felt like a rotating cast next to Mensah for a number of years now for the Crew. Does Vormgor become that steady player, that steady partner for Mensah? Eloy Room took over in the summertime. Very acrobatic goalkeeper, very good shot stopper. We'll see what he does over a full season. This is a matchup between two of the top teams in the East. I'm going to lean to the home team, even though they haven't played a competitive match yet. I'm going to lean to the Crew to get a win here and make a statement.
And that's where our juice box friends are looking as well. Columbus is at plus 115. The draw option is at plus 240. And New York City FC to win is plus 220.
Ooh, that's a little bit bigger number on New York City than I would have thought, but I think the safe play is Columbus here. If you got an old stinky juice box and you're feeling squirrely, go ahead and throw it on New York City because they've got the ability to go on the road and get a win. But the safe play is the Crew. If you want to double up, this would be one where you hedge your bets. This would be one if you want to hedge it and throw something on New York City as a bigger potential number in return. Throw a little something there because you might get something out of it. But
so if you had that really nasty 4-pack in the back of the fridge, you'd hedge your bets.
Yeah, pull one out of that and throw it on it because you might get something. New York City can do this. They have the ability to, but I'm really high on Columbus. Maybe I'm going out on a limb a little bit there, but I think the Crew are going to be a team we're talking about all season long in the East. Red Bulls in Cincinnati is next on Sunday. It's a 1 o'clock kick. It's at Red Bull Arena. Very curious to see what the crowd looks like at Red Bull Arena for a Sunday 1 o'clock kick. Cincinnati, there's a good piece over at The Athletic about the fallout of Ron Jans resigning or being asked to resign, or however you want to look at that, and how it's far more complicated with the players than you might think. So go check that out. That has to make you wonder about where Cincinnati is coming into this. There was a tweet earlier in the week about wondering about Jurgen Locadia's whereabouts. He's working on his visa, and the wording was a little interesting on the tweet. It made you think that he had disappeared. I don't know if he's going to be available, and all of that uncertainty has to make this one a tough one to go hard on Cincinnati. I'll be curious to see what the number is. I'm not exactly excited about the Red Bulls coming into this season. Not at all. Kaku has to have a big year because it's a group that has lost more from last year and really hasn't replaced it. So, no more Bradley Wright Phillips, no more Luis Robles, two longtime Red Bulls stalwarts. They're gone. Ryan Mera comes in goal, probably, although I don't know if that's a definite. I don't know who the definite is going to be up top. White played more last year, but I like Tom Barlow's game a lot, and I think he could end up winning the job eventually. They did get Josh Sims back from overseas. He was on loan last year. Good right winger. Didn't really, I think, light the league on fire, but Sims is quality. Daniel Royer's a very, very dangerous player on the left, and you're going to have him step up in a goal-scoring perspective this year, in my opinion. You still haven't replaced Tyler Adams, and Christian Caceres has grown into the role, but he's not that player just yet. And Sean Davis is a very good complementary player in the midfield. Does he end up sitting a little bit deeper, maybe, to try to find that balance? I'm not sure. Great center back pairing, one of the best in the league, Aaron Long, Tim Parker. Questions on the left side and the right side because Michael Murillo, gone. Kamar Lawrence, gone. We'll have to wait and see. This game is one that I would stay away from because of all the questions, but if you just really have to pick it, I think you have to go with the home team, the Red Bulls.
All right, and I guess we could do with this one and with another match that would happen later on Sunday, almost play a little bit of a cliffhanger here from the old Price is Right days.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the draw option first. Draw option is plus 450.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Red Bulls, minus 350 to win outright.
Okay. They do not love Cincinnati. What's the number on Cincy?
Okay, give me a guess.
800.
Close. 900. Plus 900 on FC Cincinnati to win outright.
All right, I would definitely take one of those stinky juice boxes and throw it on Cincinnati, and I'll take a better one and throw it on the draw. That's a huge number on the draw that I'll go for. I do think the Red Bulls are the favorite here, but not by that much.
So, all right. So I think that's 3 juice boxes out of your stinky 4-packs. You've got one more of those.
I got one more stinky juice box to throw somewhere. I might, if I have to, because I got the 3 games left. If I have to take one away, it would be the Cincinnati win, because I think that's the least likely of the stinky juice box options so far. Seattle, and this could get interesting. Seattle's hosting Chicago, and I have no idea what to think about the Chicago Fire right now. It is a very different Chicago Fire team than we have seen in previous years, and you have a lot of players that, look, we just don't know what it's going to look like now. It's going to look different soon. Gaston Jimenez is going to come over from Vélez in Argentina, but not until the Superliga season is done. Should be there by the time Chicago hosts Atlanta on March 21st, and they've sold over 30,000 tickets for that already. There's just not a lot to lean on Chicago to know what's going to happen here. I do like some of the players that have come back, and Jordi Mihailovic. Brant Bronico had a really good year last year, one of the few players to stand out. Jonathan Bornstein on the left side, you've got a solid veteran there, but I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. Seattle, you have to question after them giving up 4 goals to Olympia in 2 matches and getting knocked out, giving up 2 goals at home to Olympia on Thursday night. Where's their head going to be at after that disappointment? It can go one of 2 ways, and we've seen it go both ways at different points. Do they come in with a CONCACAF Champions League hangover after the disappointment? Could easily happen. Or do they come in really ticked off and wanting to prove themselves because of that just capitulation? Yeah, that can happen too. It's a good team, but I still have questions about the defense with the Seattle Sounders. I think those questions have to be amplified after giving up 4 to Olympia. The attack is outstanding. Raul Ruiz-Diaz, Jordan Morris, Nico Ladero, who is a big injury question, and I think that's going to be an ongoing thing. You know, when you have tendinitis and to the point that you're going back to Uruguay for treatments and then coming back and in missing games, and it's a hamstring tendinitis is what's been talked about, you've got to wonder how he's going to hold up this season. Now, Joao Paulo looks to be a really good signing for the Sounders. Is that going to be enough to overcome, I think, more absences from Nico Ladero this year than we've ever seen? I don't know, because Ladero is the Seattle Sounders, and when he's not there, they are a very different team. I think the questions are going to outweigh the ticked-off feeling from getting knocked out of CONCACAF. I just don't know if Chicago is a team right now that can go into CenturyLink and get it done. I think it's going to be an ugly game, and I think Seattle finds a way to get a win here, but I'm really curious to see what the numbers say, because I don't think either team is really settled yet.
All right. So here's your numbers. And remember, I was talking about that 4th ugly juice box.
Yeah.
So keep that in your hip pocket here for a second.
Yeah.
Seattle, plus 100, even money.
Okay.
To win outright. The draw, plus 250, and Chicago at plus 260 to win outright.
Not touching it. There's nothing there that's exciting enough to take a chance, because I feel like you'd be taking a big chance. This game is just so hard to call because of injuries with Seattle, because of questions that Seattle's had without injuries, and Chicago's going to look like a brand new team, and not just because of the logo and the different colored uniforms. They're going to look like a completely different team. And we don't know what Rafael Vicky's going to have this team looking like just yet. So I wouldn't touch it, period. But if I have to make a pick, I'll take Seattle to win an ugly one. Maybe the most intriguing match of the weekend is LAFC hosting Inter Miami. So LAFC comes in, same amount of rest as Seattle, but in a very different feeling, and it could have a different effect. They had to throw everything at the wall to get past Leon, and they broke through the fatigue wall in the second half and got it done. And it was an incredible performance and a potentially club-defining performance, because LAFC has not looked like a champion in those kinds of moments in their past 2 years. They've had moments in these big games where they've looked like the moment's been too big for them. That wasn't the case on Thursday. They rose to the occasion. Now, how much did they have to expend to do that? We'll find out on Saturday against a team that we absolutely have no idea what they're going to look like, because they've never played before in a competitive match, Inter Miami. Miami, Rodolfo Pizarro has a lot to prove this year, because there are a lot of questions about him, and is he one of the most talented Mexican players of this generation? Some say yes, some say not at all, and some say you can't say that because he went to Major League Soccer. I think he's got a ton to prove. How does he handle that? The back line, I think this is a very different kind of build than Nashville SC, where there's a good bit of questions about it. Nico Figal comes in as a center back. Ben Sweat, solid on the left side. Don't have to worry too much there. Roman Torres, you do have to wonder about him. You do have to wonder about him physically. He is up there in age, and he has had some physical breakdowns before any other types of things caused him to miss time. Hopefully that doesn't happen for Miami this season. Looks like they could be going with Nealis on the right back. You will remember the name because his brother plays for the Red Bulls, but he's a rookie, and that's a big ask. They have a steady goalkeeper in Luis Robles. I think he's still one of the better ones in this league. Will Trapp will be great in possession for them. You have him paired probably with Victor Ulloa, which is a good midfield pair. Are they going to be strong enough to deal with a team like LAFC that can run through that middle and rip teams apart? We'll find out, because Trapp and Ulloa are not necessarily known for their defensive responsibilities. I'm excited to see these wingers. Pellegrini is one of the young, up-and-coming Argentine players of this current generation. Turned a lot of heads at Estudiantes. 19. They've put a lot of stock into him. And they brought over Morgan from Celtic. We'll see what he can do in his adjustment to this league. I don't know who's up top. I don't know if it's going to be Juan Agudelo. It could be the rookie, Robbie Robinson. That's a position that I expect Miami to make a big signing in, but they have not yet. So Miami, we don't really know, and it's their first game, and it's at Banc of California. In some ways, that's really scary, but in other ways, you're facing a team that did have to expend a lot of energy a couple of days ago and will be playing on short rest, and they're not exactly a deep squad. How much rotation do we see? I think you could see Janela come into the team and replace Atuesta, who came back from injury in that match on Thursday. Do we see Cifuentes make his debut for this group? Do we see some other rotations? They don't have a ton of rotations available in the back line, and that's something that they would probably like to upgrade. I think Miami will give LAFC a scare because of all of that work that they had to put in on Thursday, but LAFC is a top team in this league for a reason. I think they find a way to get it done. I don't think they get the clean sheet here because of maybe those wobbly legs just a little bit, but the attack will be enough to get through. I think it'll be a very entertaining game for the national TV audience, like a 4-2 LAFC win.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
LAFC, minus 250. The draw is at plus 450. And Inter Miami, plus 500.
It's a teasing line. It's a big tease that makes you think, oh, well, they're tired. Maybe. No. I don't think you can do it. I think LAFC is the one where you have to pick here. You want a safe play. I think LAFC winning this weekend is a very safe play. All right. Final game of the weekend outside of Atlanta and Nashville. We'll get to that here after Portland hosting Minnesota. A sneaky good game to end week number 1. The Timbers, I like the additions they've made. Jimmy Chara coming into play with his brother Diego Chara. I thought Portland was a team that struggled last year because of a crazy schedule with bunch of road games and a bunch of home games. They did get into the playoffs, but they didn't look great towards the end of the season. Giovanni Savarese has some high expectations this year, and he should. This is a Timbers team that I think can win it all. Diego Valeri, Sebastian Blanco, back. Another year older, but back. They've got help around them. They've upgraded some positions with the Timbers. Minnesota upgraded the position that they needed to upgrade. Up top, Luis Amarilla. They got the deal done. He is in the squad. He scored goals in preseason immediately. Minnesota was really good last year in long stretches, and they've brought pretty much everybody back. Darwin Quintero is gone. Kevin Molino is healthy, and he will probably replace him in the middle of the park. Ethan Finley, Robin Lod, great holding midfield in Jan Gregush, Osvaldo Alonso, good center back pairing with Michael Parra, Michael Boxall, one of the best right backs in the league in Roman Metener. Chase Gaspers played his way into national team consideration, and Minnesota has added Tyler Miller. Now, Tyler Miller at times had some mistakes with LAFC that surprised you. Last year, Vito Manone was the goalkeeper of the year for a reason. Is Tyler Miller going to be able to give you that kind of performance? He hasn't yet. He has the potential to. Can he do it here? Now, Minnesota approaches the game in a very different way. He's not going to be, caught in as many 1v1 situations when things break down. So maybe it's just a better fit all the way around. We'll find out. This is a great match. And these are two teams that, look, this could be the Western Conference Final. Portland and Minnesota could easily be in the Western Conference Final. They're that good. I think early on, as they're both figuring it out, maybe Minnesota, because of all the continuity, is a little bit ahead of Portland. I don't know if they're far enough ahead to get the win, but I think they get the draw. I think Minnesota gets a really big point on the road.
Well, then you might take that fourth juice box and put it here. Portland, minus 120.
Okay.
The draw, plus 275.
Ding,
Minnesota,
ding, ding.
plus 300.
Ding, ding, ding on the draw. Don't feel quite good enough to go for the win for Minnesota there. Portland is a tough place to go into and play. But, yeah, the draw, that's my pick. I like that one. I really like that number. That might be one of the strongest plays of the week for me.
And for the record, apparently Vito Manone is now playing at the Danish club Esbjerg FB on loan from Reading.
Yeah, he's out of contract in the summer, so we'll see where he ends up there. This feels like just didn't want to take the deal to go back to